Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Gun attack at Germantown shop leaves 1 dead and 4 hospitalized. 4 people are in hospital and 1 dead following a gun attack at a shop in Germantown, St. James on Sunday night. The deceased has been identified as 21-year-old Garrett Leslie, otherwise called Hush, of Backwood in Germantown. Those in hospital are in serious but stable condition. The police report that about 5:30 p.m., Leslie and the others were at the bar located in the community of Backwood in Germantown when a white Toyota Viz drove up. 3 men reportedly exited the vehicle and opened fire on patrons at the bar, resulting in 5 people being shot. The gunmen escaped in a waiting motor car. The police were summoned and upon arrival, the injured men were rushed to hospital, where Leslie was pronounced dead and the others admitted. Rider charged after student injured in bike stunt gone bad. The Guysill police in St. Catherine have charged a man who allegedly hit a bystander student while performing stunts on a motorcycle last week. 20-year-old Jamie Riley, a labor of Harton District in St. Mary, has been charged with operating an unlicensed bike and having no motorcycle driver's license. Reports are that on October 7, Riley was driving a motorbike along the Guysill Main Road. He reportedly lost control of the bike while trying to put it on a wheel. The bike hit the student, who was a bystander. The police later seized the motorcycle and charged Riley. Riley is scheduled to appear before the St. Catherine Parish Court on November 23rd. NRSC encourages public to ensure that flexes are not impaired before driving. The National Road Safety Council, NRSC, is encouraging the motoring public to ensure that their flexes are not impaired when operating motor vehicles on the nation's roadways. This after reports emerged that 2 hotel workers were mowed down by a driver who reportedly fell asleep while driving in Westmoreland last night. The workers are reported being treated at hospital. Speaking to reporters, NRSC Vice Chairman Dr. Jones said falling asleep at the wheels has resulted in crashes, injuries, and deaths across the world, noting that 354 people have died on Jamaica's roadways so far this year. Dr. Jones stressed the importance of motorists staying alert while traveling.
A key thing about this is the speed at which we drive and the kind of mindset that we bring to bear when we get in a vehicle and get on a road. If you are tired, don't go and drive. If you get tired when you're driving, stop if it is safe and take a rest or let somebody else drive. There have been reports all over the world of people falling asleep while driving and crashing. And so we have to be very mindful about these things. So slow down, be very careful if you're tired. Do not overtake if you're not certain. Do not drink and drive. Make sure that you buckle up when you're driving. If you're riding a motorcycle, put on your helmet. If we do these things on a regular basis, then we will see the rewards on the road. Too many people are dying. We just have to be very careful when you go on the roads.
Trelawny police increase focus on gangs amid uptick in murders. The Trelawny police say they have intensified their focus on gang activities in the parish following several shootings and murders linked to these criminal organizations. Deputy Superintendent Winston Milton, commander of the Trelawny Police Division, says Saturday's illegal party in Hegel Settlement has shown that the gangs are not willing to work together. The security forces have gone to shut down the event when they were engaged in a shootout by several criminal groupings. The SP Milton disclosed to reporters that the event appeared to be properly designated with banners for several criminal groups to conduct business. Among the banners, he said, was one called One Sin, which the police believe was a designated area for the One Voice Gang and Sinners Gang. DSP Milton, this is particularly concerning because these gangs, both whom operate in Hegel Settlement, were traditionally rival groupings and were consistently in conflict. He noted that there now seemed to be an amalgamation of both criminal units in the area. The senior cop said members of the Sikhs and Taliban gangs were also present at the event, but he said the 3 men killed in the shootout were members of the Sinners Gang. The deceased are 26-year-old Trevor Riley, otherwise called Beanie, 21-year-old Saint Cleghorn, otherwise called to Saint, or Blacks, and 23-year-old Shane Sargent, otherwise called Primo. 3 illegal firearms and 17 9mm cartridges were seized. DSP Milton said the deceased were on the police radar for illegal firearms and ammunition. Ryan was released from prison in January after serving 5 years for illegal possession of firearm. Several people were arrested at the party, to include 4 children, aged 15 to 17 years. There has been an uptick in murders in Trelawny since January. The SP Milton said 29 murders were committed in the parish since the start of the year, 14 of which 40% are attributed to gangs. Last year, there were 17 murders, 2 of which 12% were attributed to gangs. As a result of the uptick in gang-related murders, the SP Milton said the force has screwed our police plan to focus more on gangs. Information Minister Robert Morgan maintains that government acted within the law to demolish Bernard Lodge structures. Information Minister Robert Morgan has maintained that the government acted within the law to demolish houses which were constructed on illegally acquired land in the Bernard Lodge area in St. Catherine. Several Bernard Lodge residents are reported preparing to take legal action against the government, seeking full compensation for the homes which were demolished. On Sunday, a team from the opposition People's National Party visited the community to discuss the residents' concerns and to signal the party's intention to provide legal and financial assistance to the individuals. The party is arguing that the government has displaced the residents without due process. Speaking with reporters in an interview on Monday morning, Mr. Morgan assured that the government has followed the appropriate protocols in carrying out the demolition exercise. He also explained that notices were placed in the communities from March this year for persons to desist from constructing on the land.
Persons have the right to attend upon the courts if they feel that they have just cause. In this case, the government is well within its grounds and we have followed the law. Criminal gangs sought to take over a section of the property and then it seems sold land to persons who then built very large houses on them or in various stages of the government did put notices in the community in March of this year to tell persons to cease and desist. Many persons continued to build. We as a country are governed by laws. We have to enforce the rule of law. We have to ensure that the government sets a good example where property rights of both private individuals and property is protected. That doesn't mean we do not care about the people who have built houses there, which is why the Prime Minister went there and spoke to them, and we have to engage a process where, like many thousands of other Jamaicans over the last 6 years who have gotten property houses through various government programs, they too can benefit from that.
The UWI is now multilingual. The University of the West Indies UWI has now evolved as a multilingual institution. Following in-depth internal strategic planning and discussion with regional education stakeholders, a foreign language policy for its 5 regional campuses has been approved and is being implemented, the university said in a statement. According to the Pro-Vice Chancellor for Undergrad Studies, Professor Justin Robinson, going forward the expectation is that all UWI graduates will be at least conversation competent in a language other than English. The seminal policy development for the UWI as a top-ranking global university, advancing its competency with best practices in teaching and learning found in elite-ranked cohorts. Vice Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles noted that the significant change will enable the further regional and global mobility and empowerment of graduates. Foreign language proficiency will no longer be a major impediment to employment among our graduates in the global world. The UWI currently has teaching and learning departments on its campuses that produce substantial numbers of graduates with specialized foreign language degrees. Majors and minors in French, Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, Chinese, and teaching competencies in other like Arabic, German, Hindu, and Yoruba have been commonplace. The introduction of this policy, however, will now see all students participating in foreign language training at a general level. Vice Chancellor Beckles elaborated further, this is a fundamental change that will transform the identity of UWI students and graduates and will provide more relevant graduates to serve as a development platform for the new, more modern and globally competitive Caribbean economy. The UWI foreign language policy is being implemented on a phased, faculty-by-faculty and campus-by-campus basis beginning in the academic year 2022-2023 with applicability to new incoming undergrad students only. The universal coverage and participation of all students are anticipated within the next 3 academic years. Flexible access and easy learning is a pedagogy principle, with students having the option of self-tutoring or guided instruction. They will have the full duration of their academic program to acquire language competency. Those coming into the university with prior competency shall be exempted from this requirement. Please remember, to subscribe, like, share, and click